Let me welcome you in this first meeting under BBioNets project, this cross-fertilization meeting, the first of the 6 that will follow. And before we enter to the discussion, let me just put the framework behind this, the concept behind these meetings. BBioNets is an EU-funded thematic network, having 2 things in mind, 2 basic concepts. Enhance the adoption of bio-based technologies to manage and process agriculture and forest biomass. And by bio-based technologies, you all know that we are referring to technologies and practices that use non-food feedstock and circularity principles to deliver diverse products. Besides the domain, the other aspect that we have in mind is operational groups. Groups of farmers and researchers trying to address real problems and funded by the European Commission. How we are trying to achieve our goal? At 2 levels. First of all, we focus in our targeted regions, Spain, Ireland, Italy, Greece, Czech Republic, and Poland. And we created what we call it FANS, networks of experts and forest and farmers, trying to bring them all together in a discussion how to better address their needs. The second step we took is we analyzed the regional situation, needs and challenges and opportunities, and we developed regional roadmaps. Basically, we refer to the bio-based technologies that are best suited for each region if applied, and then we discuss how this can be done. And of course, we reach out to our target audience by deploying a wide range of knowledge transfer activities, which is currently the status that we are in. The second step we took, and this is why we are here today, is to allow cross-fertilization meetings, ideas to be shared across regions and throughout Europe. The first round organized in December last year were focusing on a cross-regional approach. So we organized 3 meetings bringing together primary producers and experts from the respective regions. This time we are focusing on topics of common interest. You have the list of the 6 that will be focusing the next meetings, and today we'll focus on nutrient recovery. So this is the agenda. We have invited, and thank you very much for accepting the invitation, 5 experts across Europe, Ireland, Greece, Italy, Poland, and Spain. The order is just random, okay? It's not a priority, obviously. And then we'll continue with a panel discussion where the speakers will have the opportunity to provide more details, and obviously the participants can ask any questions that are relevant to the speakers, and well, they will give their reply now or later on if this is not possible. So with no further delay, I would like to call for Daniel, to share his screen and present his presentation about the effect of displacing nutrients with bio-based fertilizers in cropping systems. Daniel?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much. I'm just going to share my screen here now and just let me know if you can see.
Yes.
Can you see that okay, or is it on the...
We can see the presentation, not the presentation mode.
Okay.
And there's a kind of a message.
Give me 2 seconds. It should be okay this time, I'd say.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Thanks very much for the invitation to speak here today. Daniel Coonan is my name. I am a PhD Walsh Scholar here in Teagasc, Johnstown Castle in Wexford, Ireland. And I suppose I'm just going to give a brief overview on some of my work, which is looking at the effect of displacing mineral fertilizer with some bio-based fertilizer alternatives in arable cropping systems here in Ireland. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, so just a bit of rationale behind the study. So a long-term arable rotation trial was set up in Wicklow on the east coast of Ireland, set up to assess the relationships between bio-based fertilizers incorporated with chemical fertilizers, and we were looking at, I suppose, number one, crop yield, and seeing if there were any similarities or comparisons between the different treatments that we used. Number two, we were looking at nutrient uptake, so looking at the nitrogen use efficiency of the plots after application of these fertilizers. And the third one, then we're kind of looking at soil health, so looking at soil nutrients and how they're being used up over a long-term period, and soil carbon levels. So I suppose there's been 7 years. We're currently in our 8th year of cropping at the site, at the trial site. So we have 7 years full crop and soil data collected, and as I said, this is an ongoing trial. So the bio-based fertilizers, they're all balanced with chemical fertilizers. This is to meet the plant nutrient requirements. So based on soil tests after the previous harvest, we were able to assess what the soil nutrient levels, where they're at, and we're able to put together a nutrient plan for the following crop accordingly. So most of these bio-based fertilizers that we used in the trial are relatively easy to acquire for farmers as well. So whether that be some of the manures we use, like slurries and that, dung, poultry manure, they're all fairly accessible for farmers to use and incorporate within their own systems. So just a small bit then on the site location and the experimental layout. So the trial is located at a location in Arklow, as I was saying, on the east coast of Ireland in County Wicklow. The experimental design is a randomized block design with 4 reps of 7 different treatments, including control treatment. Yeah, so the field, the main field itself, is sown each year by the actual farmer that's hosting the trial. And so we're kind of going on his rotation, but there's been a great variety of crops grown throughout the 7 years to date. So yeah, so just to give a kind of a quick run through on some of the products that we used and incorporated into the trial. So I suppose the first one is poultry manure. So for the first 6 crops in the rotation to date, poultry manure was used in its raw form. In the most recent 2 years, I suppose we kind of substituted it out for poultry pellets, which are a kind of a new product on the Irish market anyways. They're being produced in the north of the country, and they're 100% dry matter. They're just a pelletized version of poultry manure, and yeah, so we substituted that in just to see what kind of effects are being seen there with that new product on the market. Poultry manure is an excellent source of nutrients, especially nitrogen and potassium. Poultry manure in its raw form can be spread using a dung spreader, and the pellets then can be spread by a breedall type spreader. So savings can be achieved if the conditions are suitable. So if the distance from the farm of origin is okay, then your transport costs are fairly okay. Storage facilities are available, and also if you're just applying the manure to the right crop at the right time. So all these things come into play if we're looking at potential savings in that kind of regard. So I suppose just a quick one then on the nutrient content of the manures. So poultry manure, we're looking at 85% dry matter, and we have NPK values there. So you can see it's very high in rich in nitrogen, as well as potassium, 17.4 potassium, and with the poultry pellets, then they're 100% dry matter. These are pellets, so yeah, we actually have quite high nitrogen and potassium content as well in those. So very good product all around. So cattle slurry then. So we all know cattle slurry is very available for most farmers, anyone who has livestock, or I suppose within close proximity to a livestock farmer if you're an arable stockless farmer. So it's always a great one and full of nutrients as well. So under the nitrates regulations in Ireland, the available nutrient content of 1,000 gallons of cattle slurry, presuming that is at 6% dry matter and spread using low emission slurry spreading techniques, is to a fertile soil in springtime is equivalent to a bagged compound fertilizer of 9,532. So 1,000 gallons of slurry has plenty of nutrients in it as well. So using these low emission slurry spreading techniques helps decrease ammonia and nitrous oxide emissions as well, which of course leads to better air quality and reduced greenhouse gases also. The timing of application is very important for cattle slurry. So a spring application, we have up to 50% more nitrogen recovery than a summer application, when a lot of the nitrogen in the slurry would be volatilized as well. So just a quick look then below, we have 10% dry matter, and you can see there, yeah, it's quite good. So this is in kgs per ton of fresh weight. So as you can imagine, you're putting on maybe 3,000 gallons to the hectare. Yeah, so there's plenty of nutrients in cattle slurry also. So that this particular treatment in the trial has been performing quite well as well. So separated slurry solids. Separated slurry solids are a fibrous solid fraction which remains after post-mechanical separation of raw slurry. So it can be dried and used for animal bedding. It can also be used in biogas production, or can be sprayed on the land as slow release fertilizer. Separating out the solid fraction of slurry allows for ease of storage, transport, and precise application as well. So this process allows for up to 20% extra storage tank space. So one issue or problem that's encountered on a lot of livestock farms, I suppose, is that storage space for slurry can get very tight, especially over the winter period. So this process of separating the slurry solids from the liquid fraction allows us to alleviate up to 20% of storage for more slurry. So the liquid fraction is also easier to spread using the low emission slurry spreading equipment, seeing as there are no solids within, and I suppose, yeah, you don't run into any problems there with blocking up machinery, etc. So all around, it's a new, I suppose, method of or a new technology there. But yeah, so over the course of the 7 years of the rotation on the trial, we used lime treated pig slurry solids, which had a high dry matter percentage and were very high in potassium and phosphorus also. And in the last 2 years of the trial, we incorporated some separated cattle slurry solids, and these also had relatively high nitrogen and potassium. So yeah, that's just a bit on the nutrients for that one. So then we used calcium dairy processing sludge as well. So calcium precipitated. So this is a byproduct from the wastewater treatment of dairy plants, where calcium compounds, often lime, are used to remove phosphorus from this wastewater. So it's generated by a dissolved air flotation technique, or DAF as it's known. So dairy wastewater, rich in, of course, fats, oils, and greases, are floated to surface. Lime is added, and calcium and phosphorus-rich sludge then is produced. So this product is kind of a cheesy texture, so we can spread it using a Breedall type spreader as well on the land. And of course, it's very high in phosphorus. And yeah, we've seen over the course of the 7 years in the rotation that definitely there's good results coming from the use of this product also. So a very similar product, aluminium precipitated dairy processing sludge. So this activated sludge is generated using aeration and biological floc formation, which includes the dosing of an aluminium flocculant to remove the phosphorus from the wastewater. It's very common across dairy wastewater processing facilities that aerobic secondary treatment is carried out, so activated sludge aeration techniques. So this basically removes organic material and suspended solids from the wastewater. The removal of phosphorus happens in the tertiary or the third treatment phase, where ferric sulfate or aluminium chloride is added as well. So that's where this product is derived from. It actually comes out in more of a liquid texture than the calcium precipitated dairy sludge. So it can be applied using a slurry tanker, for example, with a dribble bar, which can go straight onto a growing crop in the springtime, whether it be a winter crop, etc. So we just look at then below we have some of the nutrient contents. So you can see it's actually high in nitrogen and phosphorus there. So yeah, this product or this treatment has performed quite well in the trial also. Yeah, just a quick look then, I suppose, at the yield trend. So we have some average yields of some of the treatments there by year. So I suppose the first year being 2019 up until 2024, where we had spring barley crop. So you can see there in the first year, 2019, we had maize, which generally has a much higher dry matter yield tons per hectare than some of the other cereal crops below. But you can just see from this graph that when we compare the yield from the zero fertilizer, for example, which is down around 15 tons per hectare, and then we have all of our other treatments. So we have the chemical fertilizer only treatment, which is orange, which is up around here. And we have all of our other treatments, which I mentioned. So the poultry manure, the pig slurry, and cattle slurry solids, the cattle slurry, calcium, and aluminium. The aluminium should be there, sorry. But they're all here as well. So what we're seeing across the 6 or 7 years is that there's a very similar trend each year, so very comparable yields, I suppose, to the chemical only fertilizer treatment. So from this we can kind of deduce that, you know, there's definitely benefits to incorporating or displacing a percentage of the mineral fertilizer requirement of these crops with a bio-based fertilizer. So yeah, you can see the whole way through that we're very comparable results in terms of dry matter yield. Just to touch on soil health and some of the soil aspect of the trial. So I suppose over the course of the 7 years data we can see that the soil organic matter trend is increasing. So I suppose in 2019 our organic matter percentage on average across the treatments was just over 4%. And as of 2024, we're averaging just over 5% organic matter in across all treatments. So yeah, there's definitely a soil health aspect there as well to the incorporation of these bio-based fertilizers. So just quickly then on the relevance of the research. So I suppose the ability of bio-based fertilizers to displace a portion of synthetic or chemical fertilizer need, I suppose this opens up avenues to reduce the use of synthetic fertilizers, which I suppose buys into legislation, of course, with the ongoing drive to reduce the use of chemical fertilizers. I suppose to reduce mineral fertilizer costs comes with that, and optimize profitability as well. All ties in with that as well. So maintaining crop yields and agronomic performance as well. So as we can see from the trial here so far, we're able to maintain those yields by using less chemical fertilizer. So thereby we're saving on that. So number 4, then we're able to build and maintain good soil health and soil nutrient and carbon stocks as well. We can supply our soil organic matter over time, which leads to healthier soils, of course. We also promote the number of earthworms in the soil. So, the use of these products is biologically friendly, and this all, of course, helps with soil structure as well. Thanks very much for listening to my presentation, and yeah.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I
No
suppose that you will receive a lot of questions later on, or I hope.
Yeah.
Now let's pass to Apostolos. He will be presenting now, focusing on the biochar in animal feed. So, Apostolos.
Hi, everybody. I guess I can be heard, and you can see my presentation. Is that okay?
Yes, yes, perfectly.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jakob, for the invitation to present our work here today. What I will present is our work on integrating biochar into pig feed. And I will go through our methodology, the rationale, and the results at this stage that we have from our experiment. So let's go through what we're going to look at today. We're going to examine how we survey and quantify agricultural biomass using UAVs, that is drones. Then how biochar is produced and characterized, and at the end how it is used as a feed supplement for pigs. Then we are going to see over the potential benefits and what the experimentation has shown, and also how the ongoing research adds value to our knowledge of this issue. So why we did what we did. We know that the Greek pig farming sector is one of the most dynamic agricultural sectors, but there are several weaknesses that hinder its competitiveness. Greece imports almost 70% of the pig meat that is needed in the national market. So we identified that many of the issues originate from the type and quality of available feed for the breeding of pigs. So these problems range from poor weight gain, digestive stress, to increased emissions and reduced final product quality. That way, our research addressed these identified problems by using agricultural biomass byproducts to produce low-cost biochar-based feed supplement. So this supplement is supposed to improve animal performance, enhance feed safety, reduce toxins and pathogens in the feedstock, and ultimately increase the competitiveness of Greek pig farming in the international scheme. So this is the scope of the research that was funded nationally through the Bioanimal Char project. You can see up in the corner the logo of the project. That is almost going to completion as we speak. So our work is grounded within the circular bioeconomy. Agricultural prunings, but are typically considered low-value waste, are converted into stable, high-performance material that is contributing directly to the animal nutrition and environmental mitigation. We tried thus to link biomass management, improved feed efficiency, reduced emissions, to create a circular loop where agricultural residues re-enter the production cycle in a more added value form. This was the basis of our idea to justify the use of such byproducts. The approach that we had within our project was on three main fields or three main phases. The first one is to integrate remote sensing tools for biomass assessment with the use of UAVs, to produce biochar using controlled pyrolysis, and at the end produce a feed with a specific ratio of biochar and test this in farm. So the aim was to develop a replicable process that would support farmers, feed producers, and also byproduct managers to generate an added value product. So if we start by looking at all those three phases of the project independently, we begin this value chain by quantifying the available biomass in the field. We used unmanned aerial vehicles, drones, that is, to allow us to map vineyards in our specific case, estimating pruning volumes and evaluating the variability spatially within the field. So this was the first stage. I can show you here the actual test field that we used to monitor and to check the methodological steps that we followed. This is actually here in Thessaloniki, in the premises of the American Farming School. And we were very happy to work along with the American Farming School in this project that had a very nice outcome. And these are some depictions of the aerial photos using the drones that we took. You can see the on-site workflow. We deployed the drone, made the flight planning, and captured high-resolution data on-site. A very straightforward approach using the drones and photogrammetry to assess the potential biomass production. And this is what our first the byproducts before they became byproducts look like. It was vineyard prunings. So the methodology that was used for the assessment of biomass is to collect the data from drone and then running a standard photogrammetric pipeline, image alignment, feature matching, point cloud generation, and then producing the models for the assessment. From those, we extract pruning volumes and land use indicators, also fact-checking with available on-site data and measurements on the field. This helped us identify and produce methodology to assess how much byproducts from the prunings we could achieve using a non-intrusive methodology using the drone. On the drone side, we used the DJI Mavic 3 Pro, which is a very efficient platform, and it was very easy to use and produced a very easily reproducible methodology. On the next stage, we went on to the biochar production. Some informed biochar, it is a product of the pyrolysis of agricultural residues. It could be both used for soil improvement and also as a feed additive. The latter was our choice in our research. All in all, biochar improved soil quality by increasing its capacity to retain water. It can store carbon in the soil, contributing to the reduction of CO2 emissions, can be used as a filtering medium for the absorption of pollutants, both in soils and water. And also, it can be used as a feed supplement. This is what we did in bioanimal char. So this is the production process of the biochar that we used. It follows a controlled thermal conversion of the prunings. We had complete control over the production process by adjusting temperature, residence time within the pyrolytic chamber, thus changing the characteristics of the final product, porosity, surface area, nutrient binding capacity. What we did was produce several batches of biochar with different characteristics, store them, allow them to be sanitized and stabilized, and then use it daily in the feed. And thus coming in the third part of the research, the use of biochar as pig feed supplement. Our literature suggested that effective ranges were from 0.3 to 1% of mixing biochar in the feed. There were also some references of trials testing higher doses. We mixed daily the biochar in the rations of the feed to the pigs to ensure homogeneity. And throughout the trial, we monitored growth rates, feed conversion ratios, biochemical parameters, and such indicators on animal progress and overall well-being. What was their findings and the potential benefits of biochar as pig feed supplement? Supported our findings, which are currently finalizing, supported that we can achieve improved weight gain at around 1% introduction within the feed. We observed better feed to weight conversion, lower feeding costs, that is. Also healthier fat composition in the meat with more unsaturated fatty acids, and significant reduction of pathogenic bacteria in the manure. So overall farm hygiene was improved. These outcomes also given all the others translated to some tangible improvements in productivity, the animal welfare, and the farm profitability at the end. Also having some environmental benefits by the alternative use of the prunings in the field that currently pose a significant issue for the farmers. The added value of our research that is currently finalizing addresses these significant challenges that are created by uncontrolled or inconsistent feed administration. Biochar help us create a stabilizing supplement that could neutralize toxins, improve digestion, and enhances feed efficiency. On the environmental side, we expect reductions in greenhouse gas emissions from manure and improved nutrient retention. On the circular bioeconomy basis, as I mentioned before, we transformed a byproduct, that is agricultural prunings, into high-value livestock feed supplement. This was our project. You can contact me for sure for additional information or more specific information on findings. It was not only our work at CERT, but it was a project involving more than 5 partners. And if I may introduce also ourselves, we are members of CERT. CERT is a Center for Research and Technology Hellas. We are located in Thessaloniki, but also in other cities in Greece. And this is part of our work in the Institute for Bioeconomy and Agri-Technology. Our institute, IBO, is a multidisciplinary institute and with different focus in different domains and sectors. Our team's main focus is on the bioeconomy sector. You can find more on our projects and what we do at the links provided. And this is an actual picture of a happy pig fed with biochar supplement from our project. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Apostolos. But I don't understand how you know the pig is happy, but okay. It's a nice picture of a pig.
Can you tell?
Thank you very much, Apostolos. Now, I would like to ask Luca, Commercial Director from Tersan, Puglia, Italy, to talk about short value chains. Please, Luca.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks a lot. Hello to everybody, and thanks for the invitation. I will share right now the PowerPoint presentation. It's just a few seconds. Okay.
Okay, we see it. Just put it in presentation mode.
Yeah, I will try. Here you are. Can everybody see it in presentation mode?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, perfect. So I will try to go as fast as possible, and I will focus on the main slides and main messages. The first one is that the company I work for, Tersan Puglia, was settled in year 1974, which means we have 51 years. The name Tersan is means terra sana, tierra sana in Espanol, healthy earth. So it was in our DNA the aim of developing compost and later on biofertilizer to develop healthy and sustainable agronomical practices to nourish the soil. Very important, we were the first compost plants in Italy, and in the last 15 years we have evolved from compost to solid biofertilizers. These are our facilities. Everybody was designed to produce the best biofertilizer we can. So we have a factory, 60,000 square meter, because it's big, because we process every year 100,000 tons of humid waste collected from families, plus pruning clips, plus byproduct from food manufacturers. This last, let's say, raw material is very important because we will focus in the second part of the presentation. We have a research and development laboratory where we improve the biofertilizers, and very important, just beside our plant, we have half an hectare of experimental greenhouses and more than 50 hectares of experimental fields, mainly olive trees, almond trees, pistachio trees, and cherry trees. So the philosophy of our solid biofertilizer is that we have an organic matter with a high percentage of fulvic and humic acids, and with a balanced carbon nitrogen ratio, 30% of carbon, 2% of organic nitrogen. But the very important thing, the USP of our product, is the presence of 200 different species of microorganisms, which let's say they bear and grow all over our composting process. So these are some informations regarding, let's say, chemical, physical, and also microbiological, but I would like to focus on, let's say, the unicity of this product. Because thanks to the combination of organic matter and the microorganism, we have a main benefit. which is, let's say, more agronomical. It restores the biological fertility of the soil and generate a positive effect in terms of plant growth promotion and resistance to both abiotic and biotic stresses. We also have, we see them in the lower part of the slide, some also indirect benefits, side benefits. For sure, an healthy soil means an improved soil biodiversity. In terms of benefits on the environment, using our product, reducing partially the mineral fertilizers, help to improve the carbon footprint and to generate a carbon farming in the soil. And last but not least, there is a positive impact also in terms of a qualitative profile of production of food, in terms of nutritional and metabolomic profile, organoleptic qualities, and improvement of shelf life. These benefits are very important because apart from the product, the biofertilizer, we are used to offer to our clients also a package of services to see the improvement from the moment Ticon 0 to Ticon 1 of the microbiome of the soil, to see the improvement in terms of carbon footprint and carbon farming, and the improvement on the nutritional profile of the productions of the crops. Why? Because first of all, it's the only way for us to demonstrate practically what we say in terms of side benefits of our fertilizer. Second point, because our main clients are big food producers, food manufacturers, so it's very important for them to have these informations and to put them in their storytelling to their customers, trade, and to their final customers, consumers, because it's a way to differentiate it, to give more value to their products thanks to a sustainable supply chain practice. So this is the slide we've seen before, but let's say to quantify, to demonstrate scientifically the improvement in terms of microbiome of the soil, we cooperate with a multinational from USA, from California, which is called the Biome Makers. So this means that to avoid a conflict of interest, every of these services is given from an external company, which has no relation with us, with Tersan, and they measure and certificate, if it's necessary, like for carbon footprint, the improvement related to the usage of our biofertilizer. The same for carbon farming with different companies, and the same for food. This is interesting because thanks to a study done by a University of South of Italy, they use magnetic resonance to analyze the nutritional metabolomic profile of the crops. And so we have been able to demonstrate the positive impact of the usage of a biofertilizer like ours, but in general of, let's say, organic fertilizers, in terms of improvement of some, let's say, nutritional KPIs consumers are looking for. For example, on chickpeas, there is an improvement of protein profile, there is an increase of unsaturated fatty acids, and there is a reduction of saturated fatty acids. But the most important thing is that we were born circularly 50 years ago. The next step we have developed in the last 3 years have been a real challenge for us, which means to incorporate our circularity approach into companies, food companies' existing business models, with the aim of minimizing the impact on their processes, their organization, and their cost. This means that we take the byproducts of the industrial process of some food producers, we process it to produce a biofertilizer, we give back, we sell them, and also in the, let's say, business package, there are not only the product, the biofertilizer done from their byproducts, but also the measure of some indirect side benefits like soil biodiversity, carbon footprint, and the improvement from a qualitative point of view of their production. A concrete example is what we have done here in the south of Italy with oil mills, a cooperation with this organization of producer called Assoproli. It's in Puglia, which is the region we are settled, and they have farmers which stands for 50,000 hectares of olive trees. So we have taken the leaves that are a byproduct, a waste from their oil mills, and we've produced a biofertilizer given back to the farmers. And this year we are also quantifying the impact of the usage of our biofertilizer plus other sustainable practices in terms of carbon farming, because the aim is from year 2026 to develop in a voluntary way carbon credits. So this is, if you later on, when you receive the presentation, you will see also some links, some videos, some articles on the press regarding this activity with them. Another example of this, let's say, short value chain approach is what we did with this company. They are called Andriani, and they are the biggest company producing gluten-free pasta, which means pasta from legumes like chickpeas or lentils, and we've done the same. We have taken their byproduct, which are slurry hoppers and production tailings when they switch to an SKU to another one. We have composted it, inoculating also some microorganisms to produce our biofertilizer. Then we have quantified the impact in terms of a carbon footprint, carbon farming, and also of water footprint. And last but not least, we have been able also to see the positive impact on the nutritional profile of the pasta. So these were two case histories, but we can say that this model can be applied to every kind of byproducts for all food producers, like grape wine producers. These are some examples of the clients. We process steams and pommes. Olive oil, we talked about the leaves from their oil mills. Also the case of pasta. And also the case of fresh vegetables, because in processing them to package them for trade, there are a lot of byproducts which can be a very, very good raw material to produce a fertilizer which we give back to them. So this is the way we approach our clients to demonstrate that circular economy is easier and can be plugged in a very, very fast way. It's easier than we could expect. Okay, so that's all, and thanks to everybody for having.
Thank you very much, Luca. It's quite eye-opener. I mean, for me, these real case studies are very useful. I have some questions, but for later on. For now, please, Damian Wach, researcher in the Institute of Soil Science and Plant Cultivation from Poland. If you can please share your...
Can you see my screen?
Yes, in presentation mode, so please proceed.
Okay, thank you. My name is Damian Wach. I'm employed at Institute of Soil Science and Plant Cultivation in Department of Fertilization and Nutrient Management. And today I will talk a little about field trials with recycled nutrient fertilizers conducted in Baltic Sea region countries under other project called Synergy, project founded by Baltic Sea region Interreg. We conduct field trials in for localization. Our partners from Estonia, Sweden, and Germany and Poland conduct different field trials with different fertilizers and different crops. And our objective in this field trials is to evaluate the agronomic efficiency of recycled nutrient fertilizers in comparison to mineral fertilizer or to the manures. It depends what kind of recycled nutrient fertilizer it is, and show possible potential of replacing parts of mineral fertilization by this kind of fertilizers. For that, we prepared common methodology and general characteristics for trials and so on. But each partner was free to use their own methodology suitable for local condition, because not in every country we can grow the same plants and so on. I will show country by country, but in details I will talk only for Polish cases. I will just show the fertilizers and crop for other partners, but without results, because I have no enough competence to talk about other partners' results. But it shows that the scale and the use of different type of recycled fertilizers. In Estonia, our friends conduct trials with different type of digestate, solid fraction and liquid fraction, and with struvite. And they grown the broccoli and winter wheat. In Germany, our friends use as a recycled fertilizers hermit pellets and sheep wool pellets in comparison to the conventional nitrogen. These two fertilizers are slow release fertilizers. And as a conventional, they use calcium ammonium nitrate. Here you can see some photos during the vegetation, how they, what kind of machinery they use, and how it looks like during the vegetation. And at the end, you can compare how look plants after usage different type of fertilizers at the beginning and at the end of growing season. So at the beginning you can see that these pellets are plants fertilized with pellets are not in well condition, but at the end when the nutrients slow released looks quite impressive comparing to the even to the mineral fertilizer. In the Sweden, our friends use compost, digested manure, and a different type of biochars in the first year. And in the second year, they also used digested manure and struvite. They grown spring barley in the first year, and in the first year they use oat and spring barley. And you can see here the treatments. And now I will talk a little bit more about Polish experiments. In our experiments, we used two, let's say, mineral recycled nutrient fertilizers. One was the struvite obtained from wastewater, and the second was ammonium sulfate liquid obtained from ammonium scrubbing in biogas plant. And as a organic recycled nutrient fertilizer, we use pelletized digestate, which was produced only from plant-based digestate. Here you can see the treatment. At the beginning, we assuming to replace only part of mineral fertilizer with recycled nutrient fertilizers, but we could find quite good, in our opinion, recycled nutrient fertilizers. I mean, struvite and ammonium sulfate, and we decide to replace the whole dose of particular element with this fertilizer. So in mineral recycled nutrient fertilizer treatment, you can see the object D, where nitrogen was fully replaced by ASL, and object E, where phosphorus was fully replaced with struvite, in comparison to the control treatment B, where nitrogen was delivered by ammonium nitrate, and phosphorus was delivered by triple superphosphate. In organic recycled nutrient fertilizer treatments, we have as a control dairy cow manure treatment, and we also set the mineral fertilization, but with lower dose of nitrogen. The rest of elements were fully, and the treatments was calculated to the same level of nitrogen. And some results. We measure plants traits and soil traits and influence of this fertilizer of these traits. And as you can see, there was no significant difference between treatments. I mean, between this orange one, which was our control treatment, compared to the this yellow, dark blue, and green, which was our treatment with mineral recycled nutrient fertilizers. So there was no differences in biomass accumulation during vegetation. Similarly, there was no differences between SPAT index as a indicator of nitrogen uptake by plants. And how it looked like in the final yield, very similar. We seen only reaction for the dose. I mean the reduction of nitrogen was significant, has significant lower yield in both cases with spring wheat and maize for silage. And when we comparing the control treatment, fully mineral fertilization, to the recycled nutrient fertilizers, there was no significant difference for both plants. And for organic recycled fertilizers, we have seen positive, even positive effect of usage this type of fertilizer comparing to the control. I mean to the dairy manure, even to the mineral fertilization. So it's I think it's quite good results. And we prepare some conclusion for the year 2024. And as you can see, there was no negative effect of biomass accumulation after using ASL and struvite, and no differences in crop yield. As I said, pelletized digestate have positive effect on yield, and there was no differences between these two treatments. And we also found that using organic recycled nutrient fertilizer, I mean in this case pelletized digestate, we have found positive effect on stabilization of organic soil organic matter. We have observed that humic fraction and was growing up comparing to the fulvic acid fraction. So it's quite a positive effect for soil health. Similar results we found in 2025. These results are not yet proven statistically, but I think the results are similar to the year of 24. In mineral fertilizers with wheat, we have found no differences between the treatment, control treatment. In maize for silage, we have seen some increase of yield even compared to the control, but in my opinion, it wouldn't be proven statistically. Similarly, for organic recycled fertilizer, there was no differences between yield obtained from treatment with digested pelletized digestate and to the control treatment as a the dairy cow manure. We also promote our findings by inviting students, researchers, and advisors and farmers to our fields. So here you can see the how looks our fields in our institute. So it would be end, and I would just mention that deliverable from this this task of our project will be ready by the end of April, if I remember correctly. So if you would be interested, so I invite you to visit our project site Synergy. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Damian. Really interesting work in the project. Well, and now the final speaker, Gabriel from, okay, it's big, sorry, cannot, if you can present yourself and on the Lucian Institute of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food. And
IFAPA. It's good enough, IFAPA. Yeah, just a very long name, just IFAPA. Yeah. Okay, I'll try to share my presentation. Here. Sure. Yes. You can see the presentation?
Yes, just put it in presentation mode.
Okay. Now it's okay?
No?
No? Oh. Sorry. It was
Click on the first slide, I think, and then
yeah.
my Spanish are not good, so
Yeah. Now it's okay.
no.
No, but I can watch my my full screen. Oh my God, maybe.
We are seeing all the slides in the row as a matrix.
Okay, okay. Any case, sorry, it's okay. No, better now. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry. Now it's okay.
Yes, now we see presentation mode.
Okay. Thank you very much for the invitation to this meeting. I'm going to talk about the use of biochar and its principal benefit for soil health. Um, First of all, I like to focus on what's biochar. Biochar is the name for a plant-based charcoal. When they use as a soil amendment, and this is plant-based biomass processed through pyrolysis. The basic scheme of pyrolysis is that, okay, we introduce biomass, we produce bioenergy, and we produce a byproduct, you like to talk about that, biochar. But the pyrolysis is a thermal decomposition of this biomass component, and the temperature it should be between 280 and 500. Okay, you can work at higher temperature if you like, but it is the basic condition to pyrolysis, and always with under limited oxygen supply. The pyrolysis produces a breakdown of large molecule into smaller one, and it produced three basic products. The solid product is the biochar, the liquid, including charge, high molecular weight hydrocarbon, and even some water, and gas, CO, water, hydrogen, or methane.
Gabriel, sorry to interrupt you. If you are changing your slides, we are not seeing them. We are seeing the first.
Okay. Oof. I don't know.
Now,
What happened?
now we see the energy production slide.
Okay. All right. I'll try it again. Yeah. Okay. Try again. If I change, you can see the change.
No.
No. Both.
Just move with the scroll bar if it's easier for you.
No, it doesn't change. For me, it changed, but
no.
No, both. I don't know. Maybe
why don't you use the scroll bar on the right so you scroll down the file? Do you want me? Okay, now it changed.
Yeah, I know, but the problem is okay. We can say like that. You like because we have problem. I don't know. Maybe the communication is not okay. Okay, we use make the we use the we produce we obtain we apply the gasification to obtain energy from the main byproduct from the olive trees, the branding waste, pomades, stone, and starched pomades, and we use electricity and thermal energy, of course, biochar. How we made the biochar in our case with this gasification plant is the scheme, obviously, and I'm going to show you how we work with this. Should be should move, but okay, it's okay. You add the biomass here, and with a limited amount of air, and because of the high temperature, the biomass is dried. Then the pyrolysis produced. After this process came the oxidation step, where the biochar is finally produced, and the reduction part is just to produce change in the gas. After that, you produce the biochar at the end of the process in the reactor, and then when produce the syngas, and with this syngas we produce electricity to produce energy. This is the electronic microscope photos from biochar. All the picture are from different biochar depending on the biomass that you use. But this biochar has two main structural fraction: a sheet of crystalline graphene, this one, and we have aromatic structures. The graphene part has a very high recalcitrant behavior. It means that it resists chemical and biological oxidation. It has a residence time between 10 and 10,000 years, but at least it has 10 to 10,000 times longer residence time than soil organic matter. It's a very interesting property, and the oxidable fraction modify the characteristic of the soil. The main physical chemical properties are, it's charcoal, so the color is black, it's amorphous, has the particle size are very different depending on the biomass, has a low apparent density, a high surface area, and a very high porosity. It usually has three kinds of pores: microporous, where the absorption of liquids, solid, and gases is produced; mesopores; and the macropores, where is produced the fast sorbate transport. Obviously, the ability to retain the liquids, gases, or serve as a habitat for microorganisms depend on the porosity and type of pores. I remember you that all these photos are biochar from different biomass, so it's very important the biomass that you are using. Other physical and chemical properties, as the volatile fraction usually precipitate in soils, the biochar has a high carbon-nitrogen ratio, but the recalcitrance does not increase level carbon. The soil carbon to nitrogen ratio does not increase because of this, of the recalcitrance, and it not affect nitrogen assimilation by the plant. The pH of the biochar is basic, and the cation exchange capacity increased with the pH, has a high electrical conductivity, and the most important thing, it has a very high water retention capacity. It can retain 78% of the water of his original weight. So this is a very important property for this for the biochar. This is a typical physical chemical properties of the biochar that we produce, and you can realize then that we don't have very high levels of nitrogen, but we indicate we test some experiments with applying in order to know the effect of crop yield. This is the general picture of the effect of biochar application on the physical, chemical, and biological properties of the soil. You can see here the main properties: porous absorption, low density, large surface area, alkaline pH, mineral element, and functional group, and then how it affects the different properties of the soil and chemical properties, and how affect the microbial activity and microbial biomass. But we can try, we can try the focus in some aspect. For example, the effect of the application on the soil. When you add a biochar to the soil, we produce biochar, clay, organic complex, the soil pH increase, and then we achieve a high water holding capacity, porosity, and it reduces the bulk density, so the leaching losses decrease. Has a very high carbon sequestration capacity, increase the microbial population, and is, produce a slow nutrient release to the plant. So it, as you can see, has very interesting aspect that we can focus again here. Then the main solid physical change because of the biochar is the reduction of soil density, increase the soil porosity, reduction of soil compactation, tillage is not necessary then, and prevent the erosion or leaching. But promote the formation of soil aggregate, mainly in sandy soil, allowing them to store more water, reduce the compactation in clay soils, facilitating water movement, and increase the soil field capacity and lowers the wilting point, then increase the amount of water availability for the crops. But the biochar improve the plant resilience to biotic and abiotic stress. You can hear the very simple scheme, and mainly reduce the plant disease. More than 85% of the published studies show that these plant diseases are reduced, improves seed germination, mitigate the response to saline stress, improve the response to water stress, and absorb heavy metal in contaminated soils. But biochar has the property that is produce the carbon fixation. Here you have what happened with the biomass. Sorry, in Spain, I don't know what happened. Biomass, you put in the soil, it is the organic matter is decomposition, produce CO2. But if you have biomass for growing, you produce a higher organic matter decomposition, higher CO2 emission, and we have a higher CO2. But when you produce biochar, we fix carbon, then we produce a lower amount of CO2. You have to consider that 1 kilogram of biochar can capture 2.8 kilograms of CO2. And it's a very interesting price. Now it's higher. Yesterday I was checking, it was around 100 euro per ton of CO2. So it's a business at the end too. This is the mechanism of biochar for reducing the greenhouse gases. And if you have the biomass and you burn, as in some part in Mediterranean area, it's a typical behavior, you increase the CO2, and after that, if you leave into the natural decomposition, you produce methane and CO2. But if you add the biomass of biochar, you produce the carbon sequestration, you reduce the nitrogenous fertilizers, and we reduce the methane emission because you promote the methane oxidation. So at the end, it's a very interesting aspect, and this is a resume. Obviously, there biochar produce the reduction of methane production, promote the methane oxidation, and reduce the nitrous oxide. So, but we make some experiment about the effect of the application of biochar in olives, and we make different experiments. I make an abstract, and here we compare with other treatment. but this is the control, and this is the oil biochar. And you can see here how the pH increase always a different depth when biochar is added in the soil, obviously. The water content is higher always when olive biochar was added. Remember that has a very high water absorption capacity. So at the end, you can find that even a different depth, the water content in the soil was higher. So increase the water retention capacity of the soil. And this is the result where we saw what happened with the crop yield. Here you can find that the oil biochar produce significant higher crop yield, kilogram of fruit per tree, and we produce higher oil production per tree. You can see here, and the worst thing is that we produce olive fruits with high humidity, and it's not very good for olive oil extraction because it's produce difficult paste. But this these results are very interesting because now we are making more experiment in order to test different treatment with biochar combined with compost, other organic fertilizer. I'm sorry. The main conclusions is that the biochar increased crop production and yield, improved the soil physical and chemical characteristic, enhanced soil microbiota, protects against erosion and leaching, increased water retention, improves plant response to biotic and abiotic stress, and absorb heavy metal in contaminated soil, and it has high carbon sequestration capacity and greenhouse gas mitigation. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. It's very interesting work you are doing there with biochar. Now, we completed the part with the presentations, and before we give the opportunities for questions and answers, Daphne would like to take some screenshots. Well, promotion is in the place, so if everyone agrees, I mean, just switch on your cameras, take your happy smile, say Christmas, because we are getting there. Or, well, say Jakubos, I mean, whatever, so that Daphne can get a couple of shots. Okay, Daphne, let us know when you are okay.
Yes, I still see some people are opening their cameras, so I'm taking a few screenshots. Smile. Okay, thank you very much.
Like a big darts game with points in every face. Anyway, now it's time to ask questions and try to clarify more things. Dimitri, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you to all speakers for during this first session. We definitely covered a broad range of topics: biochar applications and on soil health, recycled nutrient fertilizers, their role in more sustainable farming systems, circular supply chains. Definitely all presentations highlighted both scientific advances, practical implications for farmers, advisors, and all other interested parties. Now let's go ahead for the Q&A discussion. We'll try to reflect on the key messages presented. 2 rounds of questions. The sequence in which the questions will be asked will correspond to the order of the presentations. Kindly ask panel participants to keep their responses within the 1 minute time limit. Thank you. So first question to Dr. Kunan, whose presentation reviewed TIGASC long-term trials on replacing mineral fertilizers with various bio-based alternatives. Dr. Kunan, as I understood your presentation, these trials examined the effects of bio-based fertilizers on crop yield, soil health, and carbon levels. Within that context, my first question concerns the timing of applications. When was the bio-based fertilizer applied to the winter, wheat in 2022, during winter or spring, and what was the reasoning behind that choice? Thank you. I'm sorry, I think your microphone, you're muted. I cannot hear anything. I'm sorry about that.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks very much for that question. Good question. So the bio-based fertilizers were applied to the winter wheat crop in 2022 in the springtime. So I suppose the application of these fertilizers in the spring to an autumn sown cereal crop leads to more efficient use of nitrogen and other macronutrients as well. This is due to the greater uptake by the growing crops at this time of year. So this makes sure, I suppose, that we can maximize the nitrogen use efficiency (NUE) as growing plants readily absorb nutrients at this time of year. This in-crop application, especially when you couple it with the low emissions slurry spreading techniques, which I mentioned as well, recovers far more nitrogen, I suppose, in some cases up to 10 times more than an autumn application when the soils are colder and smaller plants as well. So this would essentially lead to higher losses if the application were to be during that time. So that's, I suppose, yeah, that's the reason for applying during the springtime.
Thank you, Dr. Kunan. I don't know, we definitely have one question in the chat. Iakovos, do you want me to address this question or should you?
Finish first what you had in mind and then I will...
So you want us to complete the first round of questions?
Oh, well, check with Daniel, whatever you want to discuss with him, and then...
Okay, as I said, there will be 2 rounds.
Okay. Then I think a question from Sin, it's for you, Daniel. Are there any consequences from the use of aluminium to attract phosphorus and subsequent availability of other minerals in the soil? And there's a second question about have you compared the water infiltration rates and water holding capacities of the bio-based versus the chemical fertilizers? It's too technical for me, but...
Yeah, no, thanks very much for those questions. I suppose I haven't really got into, I suppose, that kind of, so there's still a lot of analysis being carried out, gathering all the data together. So I suppose I won't know any more. Yeah, it's a good question for the aluminium to track phosphorus and availability of other minerals in the soil there. So I can't give you an exact answer on that. And just answer the second question very quickly. No, I haven't looked at that side of things from the water infiltration rates and that side of things at all. So, but yeah, thanks very much for those questions.
Thank you.
Sin, is that okay? Any further? So Daniel has his homework to answer the first question. Dimitri, back to you.
Okay. Dr. Mamalakis, Apostolos, your presentation highlighted the research on using biochar as a feed supplement in pig production, bringing together biomass assessment, control pyrolysis, and on-farm feeding trials. One question that came to my mind was, what challenges did the project team face in maintaining consistent biochar quality? And in what ways did this influence the results of the feeding trials?
Hi, thanks. Thank you for the question. The main challenge was the homogeneity of the residues that we were using. Even though we used byproducts from a single vineyard, they were different in terms of moisture content and different scale and size. That was the part of the byproduct feeding, and also we faced some difficult or challenges in sustaining a stable condition within the pyrolytic chamber on the temperature side. Of course, there were several trials before reaching a final product and before producing a stable product to use for the feed experiments. And only after we had resolved this, we proceeded to the next step on the experimental feeding.
Okay, thank you, Apostolos. I don't know, I don't see any new questions in our chat. I don't know if you spot any.
No,
okay.
just proceed.
Okay, we'll proceed with Mr. Brenna. His presentation highlighted how circular economy practices can convert agricultural and food industry byproducts into valuable inputs. There was a broad potential of bio-based solutions to create efficiency, resilience, and added value across the agri-food value chain. So, Mr. Brenna, in light of your experience with the cases you presented, what are the key points that should be taken into account when building a circular value chain? Thank you.
Thanks to you for the question. In my opinion, we have to consider three aspects. The first one is, let's say, the formula compatibility of the byproducts. I mean, except for olive pomace, every byproduct can be a raw material to be put in the formula of the biofertilizer. For sure, if it's, for example, tomato peel, it will be a short percentage. If you're talking about raw materials, byproduct with a good microorganism potential, like, for example, olive leaves or legume flour, it can be increased. So this is not a real constraint. There is a constraint which is the economical and environmental sustainability, which is related to the distance from the point of generation of the byproducts and the plant where you process it. I mean, we have seen that until 600 kilometers of distance, you can manage it because the logistic costs are sustainable and the emission of CO2 from the trucks to deliver the byproduct is lower than the CO2, the positive impact in terms of carbon farming and carbon footprint. So at the end, the real go, no go issue is the capacity for the food player, food manufacturer to influence their supply chain. Because everybody say, yes, I can manage my supply chain because they many times mislead traceability with capacity to influence their supply chain, which is a different work. I mean, to influence your supply chain, your farmers, you must be able to pay them a bit more buying their crops, their products, to convince them to change a bit their agronomical practice. So this is the real sliding door.
Thank you so much, sir. I know there's an input from Mr. Wagabu, and I don't know if this was meant for Mr. Alamakis.
Yes, it's for Mr. Malamakis. Yeah.
Okay, since there will be a second round of questions, we'll ask that question within a few minutes, okay? Now,
okay,
it's Mr. Vach's turn. In his presentation, he explored the role of recycled nutrient fertilizers as a sustainable alternative to conventional mineral fertilizers. So A key point, at least I think, that arises from the discussion that concerns the role in everyday nutrient management, the role of the nutrient fertilizers. Can minor fertilizers be replaced with recycled nutrient fertilizers in a fertilization plan? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. As you can see in my as you can show on my presentation, it is possible. But there is still there is always but. I highlight only the positive sides, but there are some doubts of using such kind of fertilizer. I mean, for example, ASL has a great amount of sulfur, so not for every crop it would be suitable. For rapeseed, it's very good, very okay. For maize, still always good. For other, I'm not sure. There is also some doubts about release from struvite. So partly you can manage the replacement of mineral fertilizers with a fertilization plan, but you have to still have in mind that it requires proper choose of plant and dosage. So, in my opinion, yes.
Okay, thank you. Clear answer. Now, last but not least, Mr. Matza. His presentation provided an overview of how biochar is produced, structural and chemical characteristics, the range of benefit it offers for soil health. Mr. Matza also highlighted the role of biochar in improving soil structure and crop performance. With that in mind, my first question to you, Mr. Matza, relates to field experience in the Mediterranean perennial systems. Have any trials been carried out in olive groves examining the effects of biochar application? I'm sorry, Mr. Matza, can you hear us?
You are muted. Sorry,
Okay,
Gabriel.
sorry. Yeah. Well, there are there are maybe 1-2 experiments with in the olive growing, because you need a very high amount of biochar. If you produce biochar by traditional way, is you have to spend a lot of time, a lot of biomass, but you produce with system, as we saw you with the gasification plants, you can produce a very high production, and then you can make experiment. But the experiment with biochar, because it's difficult to have biochar in enough amount, are very scared. So I think there are this work and another more. Because of that, we are now working to have more results. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think this completes the first round of questions. So we return to Dr. Kunan for our second round. A second point regarding your presentation relates to nutrient management and on-farm decision making. For this trial, were the manures analyzed for nutrient content before application? And would you recommend that farmers routinely test these materials prior to spreading? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much again for the question, Dimitros. So just to answer the question, yes, all of the manures were tested each year for the exact nutrient content. This allowed then for a more accurate nutrient plan to be formulated for the crop being sown each year, relative to what the nutrient requirement for each crop was. Although standard book values do exist for these manures, the nutrient values of these various manures that were tested, they do vary greatly from one source to another and from year to year as well. This is mainly down to a number of factors such as type of animal, the diet of each animal, what bedding is used, and storage conditions also. For these reasons, I would definitely recommend that a farmer a farmer, you know, that they would get their bio-based fertilizers tested for nutrient content, especially the slurries and raw manures, which have the probably greatest variability. And yeah, so just get those tested before application to the crops, I think. Yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kuhn. Now, Dr. Mamalakis, I think there's a pending question for you, which I will sort of like try to retrieve from
it's Mamalakis.
Did I say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Happens.
Okay. So the question addressed to you is like the nitrogen and potassium content in the biochar varies highly with the pyrolysis parameters. Did this show up in your lab analysis and field result?
Actually, I'm looking at the results of our test biochar productions. Given that we use the same initial byproduct to produce, among the different tests we did, there was not significant change of the composition of the biochar, but it was due to the fact that we tried from the beginning to keep the process fairly stable and use a specific set of parameters early on. Our purpose was not to test how this specific byproduct would transform to biochar, but to produce biochar that was consistent and could be used as a feed byproduct. Not to waste time within this instance here, my contact information is available to you. I would be happy to discuss it more and provide some more updates on the analysis and the test we did. So
I think this is a great idea.
Yep.
So allow me one more question because it's more like related to the field of to the scope of our project. Like, how could the use of biochar in pig feed help build new bio-based value chains and strengthen collaboration among farmers, feed producers, and technology providers? Dr. Malamakis, please.
The microphone, yeah. So what we try to do to integrate the biochar into the pig feed created indeed an opportunity to transform it into high-value supplement. So I explained in my presentation how we thought of this cycle to be close to this cascade to be return and produce high added value from a lower value byproduct. The farmers benefit by supplying the biomass byproducts. The feed producers integrate a novel functional element within their feed production process. There's also the technology providers on the pyrolysis and that could benefit from this new value chain. And also we have, as I explained, integrated a new approach to identifying and quantifying the potential biomass for biochar productions through the use of UAVs. So it was an integrated approach. We tried covering all aspects of this value chain. I think the first results were encouraging, and the first systemic approach could be replicated across different settings. But of course, more research and more standardization of the process would be needed.
Thank you so much. Mr. Brennan, the second question I would like to address to you is which criteria do you consider or would you consider to assess the quality and the impact of your product on crops?
Oh, yes, thanks for the question. For sure, it's necessary. We're talking about a biofertilizer, not a mineral fertilizer. So it's important to switch from quantitative KPIs to qualitative KPIs. In our opinion, the approach is a One Health approach. I mean, we focus on soil health, which means tracking not only the organic matter, but also the amount of microorganisms, good microorganisms in the soil. So it's important to track the improvement of soil microbiome. It's very important to track also the environment's health. I mean, to see how the usage of biofertilizer improves the carbon footprint and the carbon farming related to that crop. I mean, changing only one variable, the biofertilizer, maintaining the others the same to see the net effects. And the third and most important is to see the nutritional and metabolomic profile, comparing two different plots where the only KPI change is the use of our biofertilizer. Because we have seen, for example, in a paper which has been published, that using the biofertilizer on tomatoes means some very important elements which are, let's say, valued from the consumers, which means less acidity and higher sugar. So in terms of organoleptic characteristic, it's a good improvement, but very important, we have seen also that there is an improvement which is statistically significant in terms of alanine and phospholipids, which are the real drivers of shelf life. So it permits to improve shelf life of fresh tomatoes, which is a very, very important issue for the trade.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, and back to Mr. Vach. A second question I would like to address to you relates to the broader agronomic and soil-related effects of RNFEs. What effect can recycled nutrient fertilizers have on the soil, and can they be used for all plants?
Yes, it is a very good question, because as I said before, some of that kind of fertilizer can have high amounts of, for example, sulfur. In Poland, we observed in recent years that amount of content of sulfur in soil is quite low due to of reduction of sulfur compounds released through the fuel combustion. So it is reduced. The compounds, sulfur compounds, are reduced in the air. So it directly influence on level of sulfur in the soil. So it could be some kind of added value to the soil properties. Other quite, I think, added value of using recycling and fertilizers. I mean, in case using organic fertilizers in Poland, we have also some problems with soil organic matter. So adding another source of organic matter is quite good for soil health. And as we found in the first year, such kind of pre-treated organic matter influence on stabilization soil organic matter. I mean, it promotes increasing the value of stable fraction of organic matter. So the humids are rising, but fulvic acid, which are very labile in the soil and not very welcome, are reduced. So the balance between this stable and fluctuant fraction of organic matter are getting better.
Thank you. And now we'll conclude our Q&A session with the last question to Mr. Matza. Mr. Matza, in the framework you have presented, how is the application of biochar recommended to be carried out?
Well, we test different dose or for biochar, but we realized that we need 4 tons, at least 4 tons per hectare, but in high density olive orchards. We now, because you know the new olive orchard is increasing the density, so now we have density until 2,100 tree per hectare, so it's crazy. And then for this olive orchard high density, we recommend 10 tons per hectare. I think we think that these are the better dose for biochar.
Thank you, Mr. Matza.
Thank you.
Thanks to all the speakers for this fruitful discussion and for those questions that were addressed from the participants. I think now, Jakobos, it's your turn to take the floor for the final part of our meeting.
Yeah, well, we practically finished. Just want to remind everyone about where they can find more information. First of all, during the BBioNets is now in their second year, so we prepared an online platform where you can find our results and further information. By platform, I mean there are 4 places. One that has the results of operational groups and EU-funded projects, a bio-based technology inventory that you can search for relevant solutions. There is a cost effectiveness analysis tool where we try to where we mapped all the technologies that we find from a cost benefit analysis point of view perspective. Then there is the information about our analysis in the regional dynamics, the current situation in the 6 targeted countries by the project, and of course all the material that we produce is included there. So it's freely accessible. You don't need to log in or register or whatever. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, there are 5 more such meetings coming up. The dates are here. I suppose that you all received the poster, so feel free to register and well, join us in the next year, in 1 year from now. Join us to the next discussions. So this is from my side. I don't know if anyone else has something to say or to comment. I would personally like to thank, first of all, our expert speakers who joined us today and presented their work, and of course all participants for their time. It's noon, so any comment, question from anyone? Just switch on the mic. No. Then thank you very much. Happy New Year and the end of this year. May the next one be better, I hope, for everyone. So see you next year.